Our next performer is Dr. Love, James Banks. And one of the things that, why Patchogue is successful now is that our mayor leans forward, always seeking opportunities. And if you know the story about Art Space, where he pursued the opportunity to have them here. But our village is successful because we lean forward, and Dr. Love is going to share a story that he's written. And the title is Patchogue, A Village Leaning Forward.
Good evening. Most people who have heard me speak know that I don't do this alone, so I may ask you to get involved. I heard of a tiny village when a child is born. They write them a song. And everyone sings that song as the child goes through illness and puberty and other developmental milestones. They sing his or her song. This tiny village is in Africa. When the child gets depressed, they don't go to the psychiatrist for Prozac. Instead, they sing his song. I ask you now to close your eyes and visualize the following. A village with an outstanding history, housing people of many nations and places of origin, culture and art abounding. That is no mystery. Living and working together, some who are overweight, others very thin. Where are we? What is this parcel of real estate? What have we seen? Who are we? In what direction do we lean? Some see the crosses that were burned. Others recall being forced onto reservations. Not I. For me, as the years have passed, I have learned. Painful history has a tendency toward resonating. Cultural difference emerging as unity proliferates. Whatever your memories or persuasions, you could choose to remember pleasant occasions. This village, called Patchogue, is leaning forward and looking to the future with a footprint that is not regressive. Instead, it's impressive. A reworking, rebuilding that is extremely progressive. Immersed in the cradle of Bellport and Bayport, and between the village of Medford and Fire Island, it's embraced. The village whose name is said to mean patches of water, occasionally attending to face the race against race. As difficult a village name as that Western chieftain named Wyandanch. Its history is no mystery. It is a blossom opening its breast to renewal, ever pollinating through its spread of rising architecture. Close your eyes and recall the sale of hardware in a store called True Value. Remember a red barn now transformed into a place where people lecture. Roads where reroute was once uncommon yesterday is now common today. A theater where the arts range from drama to dance recitals, nestled within the steeples that now announce places to pray. Main Street stores selling gowns that are for bridals. Often telephone callers pronounce the name Patchogue. But whether you focus or your focus is the dilemma of race relations or the occasion that visitors dressed like hoochies, our town, whose claim to fame may be wed to the sensation, to all newcomers, don't deface us because you'll never replace us. Open your arms and eyes and embrace us. Write tweets and like us on Facebook. And scribe about us on blogs. But whatever you do, honor us. We are Patchogue. Now let me change from reciting a little poetry so that those who have heard me speak know that I often get others involved. So I'd like to ask you, if you think you could sing, please stand up. Okay, you may sit down. If you think you can dance, please stand up. You may sit down. If you think that you're better looking than the person next to you, please stand up. Don't hold them back. Or if you think you're smarter than the person next to you or behind you, stand up. For those of you who did not stand, what stopped you? You see, when I do that experience with kindergartners, they stand each time I ask a question. The little people will say, I can dance. You see, the interesting thing was I never said who feels that they could sing well or could dance well. I just said if you could dance or sing, and you did not stand. Has life changed you so much that you don't have the energy to stand? Let me repeat the slogan from the University of Texas. What starts here changes the world. The average American will meet 10,000 people in their lifetime. That's a lot of folks. But if every one of you changed the lives of just 10 people, and each one of those folks changed the lives of another 10 people, just 10, then in 5 generations, 125 years, the people of Patchogue, or Patchogue, will have changed the lives of 800 million people. Some people think because they're small or short or uninvolved, they can't make a difference. So let me conclude by challenging that belief. If you think small things can't make an impact on the world, then you've never spent the night in a room with a mosquito. And remember, even if you are a sister from another mister, or a brother from another mother, let me tell you 2 stories about my experience in Patchogue. Once I got out of my brand new Hummer in front of 7-Eleven, and I saw 3 men sitting by the dumpster in soiled clothing. I said, "Hello," and stopped to talk to them as they praised my truck. I thanked them, and we talked for a few moments. So after that, I went into the store to purchase the soda that I had come to purchase. And I took out $1.10. The store clerk said, "That is not enough." I said, "Oh, no problem. Let me go back to my truck and I'll get some more change." All of a sudden, I heard a voice from behind me. It was the voice of one of the men at the dumpster. He said, "Don't bother." He reached in his pocket and pulled out 30 pennies that were also soiled, and he laid them on the counter. He said, "You don't need to get any more. This is enough." I was so moved, but the message I missed at first. The lesson I forgot. Until one day I was coming out of Madison Square Garden to see a Knickerbocker game. And a young man who looked very similar to the gentleman in front of 7-Eleven stopped me. And he said, "Do you have $1? I need something to eat." I looked at him and judgment welled up in my system. And I said, "No, I think you probably would do better to get a job." And I walked on. And as I walked, I remembered the gentleman in Patchogue. I turned around and went back, and I gave him that $1. That was a lesson that I learned in Patchogue. And as I close, I want to remind you that there is a reason why they tell you to cook your meat until it's this color. It's because I am well done. Thank you. You see, if you close your eyes, you'll realize that that was not a drum beat you heard. It was the heartbeat of Patchogue and Dr. Love. So if you really want to change the world, measure people by the size of their heart, not the size of their pocketbook or the style of their clothing. Patchogue is a village leaning forward, and I am well done. Thank you.
And now we know why he's Dr. Love. I can feel that now.